Life is I guess life is a process, right?
Yeah, life is a process. Better the process go on.
Yes. Is I guess life is a process, right?
Yeah, life is a process. Better the process go. Okay. We have a delayed echo.
Oh, that was me. I'm setting up the link for YouTube. And
Okay.
that's the delay that it goes from Zoom to YouTube. And that's what I have to make sure people don't have both active. Okay, that's all taken care of. I should probably have 2 or 3 screens, monitors in front of me so I can run this as a professional. There's so many things you have to keep track of when you're doing multimedia. So,
Yep.
hello, no.
Complicated.
Hi, how are you all doing? Hi, George.
Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you too. How are you feeling?
Well, much better. Not whole
Good.
yet, but much better. I
Good.
was not able to make this morning's meeting, but I did hope you be able to share with us if there is any information on the acute assisted living option later on. If not, then not, so be it. Life is complicated and delayed.
Well, I can share with you what we spoke about at this morning's meeting. There wasn't anything specific about our Summer House 2 project yet.
Okay,
However, next month we will have our corporate nurse come and speak a little bit. So that might answer some of the questions I think that you have, because I asked her specifically to touch on that.
okay. That
And
would
she'll
be,
be speaking at the next town hall meeting. So hopefully you guys can make it to that meeting.
That's good. That's good. Well, I every once in a while I go down to the gym and I peek in that, they have a little door slit. You can look down the hallway to the old care center. And you see all this stuff in the aisles and total confusion. It's just, oh my gosh. And it's been that way for a month.
Yep.
2 months.
all the ghosts of Christmas past.
It must be frustrating. This you want to have progress, you want to get going on this stuff, and
Yeah, but
they're stuck in the mud.
something about evolving the state in various decisions. It does take time.
And unfortunately, we're run by paperwork around here. So I guess that's good. Well, let's see. Hope we can get a few more people show up. Did anyone go to the Medicare Zoom meeting at 2:00? Oh. Was that of any value, George?
It was very informative, very helpful. It actually answered a key question that I had. That's a very simplistic question. I sort of knew the answer, but I wasn't sure. And that was that if you, there are advantages and disadvantages to everything. And the question is, are there limitations if you sign up to a Medicare Advantage plan? And the answer is yes. Not surprising, but so whatever. Otherwise, she was very informative, very helpful, very knowledgeable, answered questions quickly and promptly. Very nice meeting.
Well, that's good. That's good. I hope other people took advantage of it. I'm sort of locked into, I'm on this supplemental plan through the Boeing retirement. And they say, well, you can go do something else, but you do that, sayonara from our benefits. And it's a one street.
Yep,
And,
yep, yep,
I said, well, I don't think there's that much to gain.
yeah,
And maybe a nickel here and a nickel there, you know, but I'm
Yeah.
willing to pay out for what dental and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
have to just go along with the flow. Hey, Karen, I see you here today. That's good.
Hello, Bob. Hello, everybody.
hello,
We're gonna-
welcome.
I want to bring up the topic of communications in the village somewhere along the agenda. So we'll let you join in there too if you have some other progress or ideas that you want to share. Karen came forward to me and talked about the stuff we were talking about last week. The whole idea is try to get rid of some of the paper and how we can improve the communications. It's one thing, paper gets to the people, but then what do you do with it if you don't keep the paper in your pocket? And if people lose it, they file it away. They said, oh, that's part of my junk mail. And they read it and they forget about it. So we need something else. It's more of a permanent reminder. And there's some kind of digital system involved in that. But she has another approach where she wants to use the people approach, get people to knock on doors and call people on telephones. And I think that's a great idea. So that we're still banging our heads together trying to figure out, you know, what's this and that. And I'm going to ask for some ideas that you guys can contribute a little bit later here. I also have today a wonderful video that Joe Lefevre sent me. It's from 60 Minutes and it's all about the supply chain problem and the problems in the LA ports. Wonderful video. I spent quite a bit of time trying to narrate, to edit it down into a short 8-minute segment of the relevant pieces and get all the, part of it out. But when I finished, it was still copyrighted. So I'm going to show it at the end of the program. And that's when I'll turn off the YouTube live segment. And they can go and look at it on a different link. One of the things we're doing here, we're live and what we're saying and whatever is going into YouTube, it stays in YouTube. But you can't take the information out of YouTube and put it back in YouTube if it's not your information. And that's the dilemma. And they say, if I do that, they will block me and the whole thing will be shut down. So Judy Marsh has had that problem in the past where they copyright things on YouTube, will block the whole video. So the workaround is to get the main part of the program done and then we'll show the copyright portion at the tail end. So, well, I think we got a quorum now with Bruce and Ken and Michelle coming on board. So, and Louis. So why don't we get started? Today, I mean, this week we had quite a few things going on here, and I hope we can, you know, share what we liked about it and what we didn't, and so forth. And any great stories we have. We come across these activities that, hey, you didn't know about this. This is really a great idea. We should try this and get word out into the public. So does anybody have anything that's they're really anxious to talk about? There we go. This is a real live crowd here tonight. So I understand I didn't go to it, but Liz had a wonderful birthday party in the lounge yesterday. Did anybody go to that? Her family put on that, and that's a really nice way of doing things. We used to do that all the time with big parties in the Red Chair Lounge, and it was always fun to, you know, have nice social events like that. And, okay, and she's not on right now, but I guess she's recuperating, something like that. And let's see, what else we got?
Bob,
Yes,
Terry Taylor and I put a plaque on the Bill McCaughey bookcase that was donated in his name by his children. And we've made some photos of that, and we'll probably send a few to Judy, and maybe use a few for ourselves in our own little newsletter.
great.
That's very nice, Michelle.
It was all Jan Beardsley's idea. I think it's a great idea. And wasn't it your idea, Jan?
Pardon me?
Wasn't that your idea to do the plaques, or was it the children's idea?
Oh, it was their idea. Melissa,
Oh, okay.
yeah, Melissa ordered them and asked me who they should go to. And I told her Maria and Michelle. And she said, well, if I send them to you, will you make sure they get them? And so that's what I did.
Well, we'll send some pictures to them too.
Yes, but
Okay. Well, that's great news. Nadine, do you have any announcements you want to make? I didn't see any memo yet this week, so is it, maybe it's still in process, so. Or no news is good news.
We did put a memo out, and we did have a town hall meeting this morning. Some of you were there, a couple of you. I can repeat some of the information, or it is in the memo. So totally up to you.
Well, we got a few minutes, and I don't think the menu's in the boxes yet, so.
Okay, I can give you some highlights. Pam talked a little bit about cold, flu, norovirus, and COVID, and ways to prevent exposure to any of those illnesses. And just high level here, if you're experiencing any symptoms and you know the symptoms, please let the nursing staff know right away. Also, if you've seen your physician or on antibiotics, allow for 48 hours in your system before you come out of your apartment. Washing hands and wearing masks is obviously a big thing. If you're making travel plans and overnight stays, regardless of vaccination status, please take all precautionary measures and avoid large crowds and staying away from sick people. That's about it on that. We have testing on Tuesday. The visitor check-in policy, we just revisited that, and we included kids because we're noticing that some kids are coming onto campus. And if they're under 11, they likely have not yet been fully vaccinated. And so the policy holds the same for kids, is that either they show proof of vaccination or they have a negative test result from within 72 hours. And if they don't have either of that, then the visitation needs to occur outside. Masks must be worn in all common areas. Somebody asked the question, if we're outside, do we have to wear a mask? And the answer is no, you don't have to wear a mask outside, just in the common areas. We had Carissa Reagan, the physical therapist, speak. Just about if you're having any therapy needs, to please give her a call. She's on campus twice a week. Ryan spoke about the October Step Challenge and gifted some of the winners with a nice T-shirt. That was really fun to celebrate all those steps that residents got. The highest number went to Lucy Kano and the Spradleys with 10,000 plus steps. Congratulations, Jan. She got under 4 steps. Let's see who else is on the call. No, Bill got 8 to 10,000 steps. Good job, Bill. And Ken also got 8 to 10,000 steps. So that was really fun to celebrate, and they all got T-shirts. Then I talked a little bit about staff retention and just, want to thank all of our residents for showing your appreciation to our staff. We're always looking for ways to retain our staff. Next week, Joel and I are going to be meeting with each of the departments without the supervisors of the departments, just to provide updates on what's happening with the organization in Walnut Village and to hear about what their needs are within their departments to maintain success and ask questions and voice concerns. So we call these open forum meetings, and we try to have them every quarter. I've shared this with you in the past, and again, it's without the supervisor. And so it's just another way to engage with our staff. Beginning next month, we're going to be making salary adjustments on our line staff. And this includes servers, receptionists, caregivers, housekeepers, and some kitchen staff. And in some cases, we're increasing as high as 10%. It's pretty significant. And as we know, the workforce is not what it used to be, and entry-level positions are demanding higher wages nowadays. So our goal is to retain our staff with very little turnover. And so that's what's happening. We're also very focused on recruiting the right candidates for the open positions that we have. And I'm pleased to announce that we have made a formal offer to a director of environmental services, and he's accepted and he is
Good.
cleared. So all being well, he'll start on December 6th. And
Wow.
his name is Ethan Vivas. And also at the meeting, I introduced a gentleman named Danny Tran. You might have seen him this week. Danny has just started in the department as well in maintenance, and we're very excited to welcome him. So we're getting there.
Good. Good.
Wonderful.
And then on we talked about trash pickup. We've been up until now, or since the pandemic, we have been picking up trash 4 times a day. But what this has caused is residents to just put out trash any time of the day, and our hallways are full of trash, and we're getting some concerns about that. And so what we're doing now is we're going to go back to the way we used to do it, which was pick up once a day at 9:30 in the morning. And so we're asking residents to please put out your trash just before 9:30 or anytime that morning, but not after 9:30. And you're always welcome to use the trash room. Get some more steps in, get some exercise, or wait till the next morning. But trash pickup will be once a day. And we're asking that you please pour out your liquids in the sink so that the liquids don't spill out of the bag onto the carpet. Okay, so that's in the memo too. And then we talked about scams. If you're receiving any unknown calls, any calls from unknown numbers, saying that they're the IRS or offering gift cards, solicitations, free trips or prizes, please be aware. Do not give out any personal information. I think I was in the Medicare meeting an hour ago, and she spoke about the same thing. There are a lot of scams out there, and particularly this time of year, it's the holidays. So please be careful. Don't give out any personal information. And you could just say, please don't call me again. Take me off of this call list. Yeah, we don't want you giving out your information. Thanksgiving worship service is on Wednesday, the 24th in the chapel. And Thanksgiving Day buffet will be served in the Red Chair Lounge on Thursday, November 25th. And reservations are available from 2 to 3:30 for residents only. So please call the hostess to make a reservation or place a to-go order by Monday, the 22nd.
Okay.
And then due to limited seating, we're going to be using all of our common areas for this buffet. And so obviously we can't accommodate guests in our common areas for the holiday, but you're welcome to invite them into your apartment and get meals to go. We'll have a few more specifics about that. There'll be a little more detail in the memo. And then we're having the Advent suppers. For those of you who are interested in the Advent suppers, they'll be on December 2nd, 9th, 16th and 23rd in the Lifelong Learning Center at 5 p.m. for 2 points. And suppers will include soup, salad, bread, and dessert. The seating is limited, so I encourage you guys to call as early as possible to make a reservation if you'd like to go. And then we are hosting our annual holiday party, our cocktail party and dinner, which we didn't have last year. And it's hosted by Walnut Village. And it'll be on Wednesday, December 15th in the Courtyard, the Red Chair Lounge, and the Grove. And so we'll send out more details about that. Chorale concert is on Saturday, December 18th at 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. in the Performing Arts. And employee appreciation reception presented by the residents of Walnut Village and Doug Boston on Friday, December 17th in the Performing Arts at 2 p.m. And then we introduced new residents, Don and Judy Henneken in 282, Lou and Joan Horn in 333, and Terry and Linda Priester in 382. Also announced that a couple of residents passed away. Hazel Rickerson in Summer House number 4 on November 18th. And Dwayne Wickstrom passed away as well in 245. There will be a memorial service for Dwayne at Rose Hills in Whittier on Monday, November 22nd at 1 p.m. And then our occupancy, we're at 138 in independent living with 175 residents. So that's 88%. We have 13 accommodations in Summer House with 17 residents. So we're at 93% for a total of 192 residents. And we potentially have 3 move-ins for December.
Great.
Hey, great. Wonderful.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, did we grab that? That's a lot of information, so.
Yeah. Yeah. The menu looks great.
Good, good.
Okay, so I'm just to follow up on some of the COVID stuff, I have a couple of things I want to share here. Whoops, hit the wrong button here. Let's see. So here's what we got to say. We're talking about
Cute.
you can look at this vaccine thing more than one way. All right, here's another one. So do you think politicians know more about medicine than Dr. Fauci? Well, then Zeb here from Town Hall Council will be doing a colonoscopy. And here's a Scottish variant of the coronavirus. You can hear it coming. You may think this is a corner of lettuce, but it's really the tip of the iceberg. And you can't use beef stew as a password. It's not strong enough.
Strong enough.
And you run into this. Your call is important to us. Please stay on the line until your call is no longer important to us. And if you notice cows sleeping in a field, does that mean it's past your bedtime? All righty.
Very cute. Very nice.
We have, I have one other little thing I want to share with you too. It's another one that, see if I can find out what I did with it. Let's see. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody had a chance to say that, we're all thankful for Thanksgiving and everything else. So we'll do it this way.
Oh, Thanksgiving Day is drawing near. Since Plymouth Rock, us turkeys live in fear. You're giving thanks for what you've got. Family, friends, and food and fun. But man, this oven's hot. fill your plates up to the sky with cranberries, cornbread, stuffing, wings, and legs and thighs. So be thankful for this dinner, that your life's so freaking sweet. Be thankful that you're not a walking feathered slab of meat. Be thankful when you're happy, and thankful when you're free. But most of all, be thankful. Be thankful that you're not me.
I love those guys. Oh, wait, I gotta go back and figure out what's going on. Oh, okay, okay. We had the other one that I was going to show you was a cute little effort that a farmer took on to be thankful for his situation. So here's another little video. It's a little stretching it for Thanksgiving, but I just want to share it with you here. So we have this 80-year-old. Here we go. So somebody cares about all the dogs out there. He's taking care of them. All righty, so let's see. I keep track of all this stuff so I don't get it. Yeah, okay. I noticed, and one of the things I was subscribing, that the post office is having a sale on stamps. For the 100-pack of Forever stamps, now you can get the stamps at a discount for $39, basically $39.99. Usually it's $58 for a 100-pack.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you save a whole bunch of money on your stamps. You need them for birthday cards, Christmas cards, pay your bills, and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Always has a discount.
I don't know. Has anyone heard? I didn't talk to Judy about it, about some of the plans coming up for the holidays. We used to have, decorations in the homes, the apartments, and then we had an open house or a tour of the apartments that the people went around. And it was a really nice chance to get to meet people and see how they lived in their different apartments and the different layouts and so forth. But it was a lot of work for the apartment owners, because they had to do all the decorations and preparations for that. And of course, some of us, like dear old, remember Bill McGaughy? He would definitely serve margaritas. And I got involved in that with some eggnog with a lot of rum in it and everything else. And so there were fun little open house tours. I haven't heard anything about that mentioned yet. But as we get into time, we need to start preparing and getting our decorations and our apartments cleaned up. Be nice to know if that we're going to do that or not. So
Bob, I spoke to Judy about that actually this week, and she is going to make an announcement about it, but we will be doing that again this year.
so it's in the plans then.
It is in the plans. It'll be doors, not patios. That way everybody can participate.
Well, people used to actually come in the apartments.
Right, and did we have a cookie cook-off, bake-off or something like that too?
Well, there was that. There were gingerbread house decoration contests. There was a Christmas tree in the lounge decoration community process. And but the tours into the different apartments, they were just sort of free flowing. There's groups of maybe 10 or 15 people, and they were divided into different sections, so they wouldn't be all in one apartment at the same time. And they'd be hosted with cookies and drinks and stuff like that. And, they basically just share, what's going on in your apartment and so forth. I'm trying to figure out if I want to decorate this year. That's my that's my
I'll ask
interest.
Judy to put some information about it soon.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's the kind of thing you want to know right around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So, because it takes a little while to do that. So, and of course, there's another one that came out. You mentioned that you had it at the little meeting you had today, where Rehab Alliance is saying, stay healthy, stay fit, and stay social. And they put out a big flyer about that. So they wanted to make sure they were, join up with the group for doing that. Well, I have a couple other suggestions here, and here's one. If you're up to it, we can show. So I keep hitting that button. Wait a minute, let me see what's going on here. Try it again. So this is another way of doing some exercises in front of the TV. Now, this guy happened to be only a couple years old, so. So now, if that's too young for you, and you just don't think you can handle that, I have one for some old timers. Things you can do to get in shape and keep in shape. So why don't you consider this?
must be a contest, he's got a number of rally.
How about that? You think we could do that? Have a dance contest like that? Yeah, that would prove something here. Okay, get down to some serious business. I had a talk with Ed Rudd the other day. He was talking about the list of skilled nursing facilities that Judy Phillips put out. And he was going around and looking at a couple of them on the top of the list so he could get familiar with them. And he actually came by and he was showing us the brochures. I can't see them here, but anyhow, brochures. He went to some of them to find out what they were really like. Because Judy's message said, you know, here's the place, here's its score. Oh, Karen's got a friend there.
This is Lady Gray.
Ah, okay. Fortunately, mine's asleep on the bed, so she's not going to bother me now. But anyhow, Ed was telling me it's nice to go out and see some of these places, as opposed to just have a name on the list and a number for, you know, how many stars they're represented. So we got to talking and says, well, you know, a lot of folks may have experiences having gone to some of these places and could give us sort of like a personal referral. So I was hoping that Judy Phillips would be on today, but I don't see her here. So that the idea would be, if you think, if you go take a look at her list, and if you think, you say, I'd like to, you know, make some comments that this place is kind of nice and I'd like to recommend it for anyone, maybe just to make a one sentence what you liked about it, some of the things that are really nice about it. And we send those comments into Judy, either on a note or an email or something. Then Judy could collect it and sort of sort it with the list that she has. And then when you're looking for something, it says, oh, Bob Crisfield's been to that place. And why don't you talk to him and see if he liked it, and so forth. And that's the whole idea, you know, have a little more personal reference to these skilled nursing facilities. So they, Ed thought it was a good idea. Do you guys think it's a good idea?
Yes, I do.
Definitely.
Yeah, well, maybe, okay, well, why don't we see if there's, take a look at that list again. And
Hello, Jimmy.
if you'd like to make some comments about,
Well,
you know,
better than I was.
you
so
sort of
well.
agree with that, then, you know, just drop Judy a little note saying, yeah,
Well, hang on a second.
sort of agree with this stuff, that this is a nice place. So anyhow, that was, there's so much to offer on these different places, and it's hard to know what's all marketing and what's not. The other thing that came up that I wasn't, someone asked me, you know, I'm now sort of getting the reference. Here's Bob, the information man, because I tend to get out and pass information around to you guys about how the medical pendants work. Because one person had the pendant that he was in his car miles away from the facility, and he got a call on his phone and says, "Are you okay? Because your pendant went off." And he couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. Well, so I called him, and the pendants really don't go miles and miles and miles away from here. So I asked Pam the other day when I saw her how this thing works. And she says, well, yes, the pendants actually work a few feet, a little distance outside the perimeter. So if you're out walking around outside the gate, the perimeter, the pendants probably still work there. Now, how far they work, that's another question. But they do work slightly outside. So we figured this one, the one that the stray signal was because somehow it got pushed. The guy was in the car, and it was either when he's leaving the facility or whatever, the signal got transmitted, the emergency signal got transmitted. And by the time the nurses got back to him, he was 20, 30 miles away. So it really wasn't appropriate. And but they do have, and so that was a big question to me. And well, what kind of signal do they use? Are they used on the internet? Are they GPS? Are they radio frequency? Are they on cell phone frequencies? Of course, Pam didn't really know. She says, well, it's a black box computer down in the basement that works, and it talks to all these devices. And these devices, it collects the signals from these devices, and then it transmits from that computer to her computers in the nursing area, the messages when they come up. So I don't know really, I can't tell you what the details of what kind of frequencies and bands, and if it's internet or some other kind of carrier or what, but it's separate from our internet and Wi-Fi. It's not on our Wi-Fi, it's not on our internet, and it's not subject to those issues. And the other key thing, of course, is if you happen to press it by mistake, the nurses have to come by and reset it because it's still transmitting, or it's still in the transmitting state until they push the button back and reset it. So I hope that's answers some of the questions you have, if you did have them. Or to me, it was a sort of a curiosity kind of thing. Being a technical person, I always have to figure out how things work, and it was something that wasn't documented here. So maybe she'll come back and give us some more information, or she has a pamphlet or something on the details.
Bob,
Yes.
have you ever heard of the Care Predict watch?
No.
Okay, well, we saw it at Atria, one of the Atria places in Newport Beach. And they would give one to every person who came in, and they would not have any isolation or any quarantining, because the watch predicts when they have anything going on in their body, and that one person would be sent away, or not sent away, but isolated. They don't have to worry about isolating everybody else, because they could tell whether you're healthy or not. It costs $3,500 per watch.
I don't know. I'd like to see the statistics that validate the reliability.
Well, actually, you
of
can find a
prediction.
lot of information about it, and there are others too, but mainly centered in Florida. And I think that's because there are so many old people there.
Well, we're getting a lot of old people, whereas every place where the age is gentrification. I don't like devices that predict things. I like the devices that measure things, and then use human people to figure out what's going on.
Was there any discussion as to whether the system worked when the power went out?
Our system,
Yes.
it wasn't affected by the power.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
I don't know if they have battery backup on their computer system. That would be a question. I don't know about that. But the transmission of from the device to the computer is not affected by our power. At least that's what I understood from Pam.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you.
Don?
Several people today have discussed nurses or nursing facility, or nurses do this or do. Do we actually still have nurses on our staff?
No, we don't. We have
We
CNAs.
Do we have
they're not registered nurses. They might be
Like LVNs?
I
Yeah,
can
LVN.
speak-
LVNs,
I can
exactly.
speak to that, Bob. We do still have nursing staff. The nursing staff that we have on our team has not changed since the care center closed. So the level of staffing is the same. Nothing has changed on this side. We still have LVNs, medication technicians, and caregivers and CNAs.
Right. I think originally only the care center had an RN and she was the manager.
Right, and RNs are not required at this level of care. Some communities do have RNs, but it's not required. Pam is an LVN, and we do have other LVNs here as well.
Right.
But no RN.
Okay.
And I just wanted to make a comment about the pendants. So if the power goes out, they are backed up by battery.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, and that's why it worked.
I vaguely remember though that Judy Phillips had a conversation once about the life after without electricity, how long they could go. And I don't remember what she said, but you could ask her next time you see her.
Well, that's probably the battery life length on the feeding up the computers. I don't think because the pendants are they're good for months and months or maybe years. I don't know what the
Yeah, you're right. It's probably the receptors that
Right.
would probably not be working.
yeah. All righty. Let's see. The other kind of thing I just want to follow up because I know Karen. There's one reason why Karen's here is where'd you go?
Moved.
Well, listen, Karen, come back.
I may want to say something.
Well, anyhow, I'll summarize it, because Karen and I had conversations about the communication in the village, all the issues about papers are not the most effective way, although it's maybe the only way if people don't have all kinds of the other digital devices to use, and just trying to do everything on the telephone is just too big of a job. So the staff tries to communicate with us with paper, but that's very laborious. And it still doesn't get there unless they put it in front of our noses. We don't go down the post like we used to go every day and pick up mail once a day or more than that. Some of us, including myself, only go down there 2 or 3 times a week based upon the current activity. And it's there's not a lot of exciting things to get out of the post. And so it just, you sort of play it by ear. When Judy wants to get activities announced and people reminded about them, it's frustrating if she doesn't take certain actions, because if people don't get reminded, there are no shows and the activity attendance is very poor. And she's seen that and don't really understand why. And what part of the whole reason of her big efforts here is to get us out of our apartments and having some fun together within the limits of the rules we have. Last week we had Joe Tater in the lounge for the first time in 2 years, and it was fun. And she had to put out, a piece of paper on our doorstep to remind us of that. And even then, I was sitting there and watching people come back after they had finished their dinner, and they poked their head in and they said, sort of like, oh my gosh, I didn't know about that. Oh, what's going on? I had some other plans. And they just keep walking on. It's sort of a disappointing fact that we don't take advantage of the activities that are being provided to us. And is it our communication system or something like that? Well, Karen O'Malley chimed in and we had to sit down and talked a little bit. She was hoping to use the Good Neighbor Committee to sort of get people a little more involved, not using digital communications, but verbal, face to face, either on sitting down with the people, getting on the phone with them, knocking on their doors and whatever, and telling them about these kinds of things and saying how they feel about it. I thought that was a great idea. And she's going to work with Catherine Green and Elaine Stark and some other people on the committee and talk about it. And I was hoping that she's going to be here long enough to explain that. But something else happened and off she went. So maybe we'll get to more about that. But trying to solve the problem is huge because it's a big issue, mostly because we're going to have to change some habits. We're going to have to change some procedures. We're going to have to find some ideas to make things feel people comfortable doing things. It's not a matter of just plugging something in and turning something on or adding a new feature to a digital system. I thought that might help, but of course I like to take the technology approach. That's not only the only way of doing things. So we'll just sort of grin and bear it for a while. This is going to take a little more time to figure out where the answers are. Jan, do you have a comment? Yeah.
Well, as a good neighbor, I'm a little bit troubled by this suggestion because a lot of our neighbors do not come to the door. They do not want to be disturbed. Even phone calls are kind of a disruption to them. And, I empathize with Judy's problem of not getting the information to them because they don't come to their door to pick up the things that she delivers. But I don't think I would have any more success in delivering it in person. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, Bob. I am in the same.
Well, it's their privilege to say no and all that, but the people who are not comfortable or socializing, it's a shame because the more social isolation people take, the less brain activity. It turns into depression. There's so many things that came out of this whole pandemic thing about people isolating themselves, leading to all kinds of other medical and mental issues. And you want to say, hey, let's take advantage of us keeping healthy and taking care of each other and all that. And the people who don't participate, you kind of worry about them a little bit. I don't know. I'm not the right person to deal with that, but it's sort of a concern, and I think it should be a concern for our community too. I don't know if it's the community's responsibility to change it. Maybe that's where we have to get to the medical staff and ask them, what's the right thing. And obviously, if they are not in a condition to socialize, that's one thing, and be left alone. But others who are just sitting on the fence and try to find the easy way out. For the last 2 years, we said, well, I don't feel like doing this because I don't have to do it. And I'm not supposed to go out and everything else. So you get stuck in that mud and you don't do anything. And the next thing you know, you don't feel like doing anything because you've been lazy all that time. And I want to have something to look forward to every day and excite and enjoy my life. And I don't know if I'm a little bit odd doing that, but I think you guys too. That's why probably you're here to figure out what's going on and participate and so forth. So maybe it's not a communications problem. It may be a bigger problem, and communications is just not the right way to solve it. I don't know. But I appreciate your point, Jan. If they can, if the committee can help, that's fine. If it's not a complete solution, well, we have to recognize that too. So, okay. Let's see.
Last week you talked about some communication in each apartment.
Yeah, that was a digital slow approach.
That sounds good. you know.
Touchtown has many other capabilities, but they're not free. Now we do use Touchtown to drive channel 81. There's a lot of other questions about a lot of older TVs can't go to channel 81. So there's questions like, well, maybe we should try to look and put the content on channel 20 or some other channel, that the other older TVs can reach. And I know Touchtown could handle more than one channel, so it could handle more than one feed. But that depends upon how our TV supplier does things and whether or not even the DVR folks would have contracts with DirecTV can take other feeds. So there's a lot of technical questions there, capabilities. The other part that Karen brought up to me was that it's one thing to get information told you, it's another one to make sure it's available if you want it on demand. And so I said, well, maybe what I should think about is taking that blog that I started, the Village News, and go back and put some more work into that. So we could dump some of this information into the blog, and then people, if they're curious about this and that, they wouldn't have to save piles of paper on their desks. They just go to the blog to see what's going on about, this activity for this week, or what were the schedules for this and that sort of thing. That's another thing, but it's a lot of work to do that. I have to figure out how I can get feeds from the Touchtown to feed into the blog and that kind of stuff without having to enter it all over myself. Anyhow, those are the kinds of issues that it's still open for thought, but I still trying to figure out, which problem we're trying to solve and how big of the problems they are. And it's a too big of an issue to try to wrap my arms around it and try to work it over the holidays. But it's got to keep it alive, and we'll keep discussing it, looking for inputs and some ideas of which are the most important communications. And if people aren't really interested in this, that, the other thing, then we'll just, don't worry about it that so much. We'll just leave it as is. Yes, Doug.
Bob, I think part of this is we can't force feed people, I think, in certain respects. A lot of this is personal choice. I think one of the things we can do is we can encourage and maybe force their personal choice to the point where they have to walk out of their apartment to pick up a piece of paper. Or if we had, we mentioned it last week, a telephone number that they can call if they so choose, that will give them that information that is always available for anybody. And it's like dial a prayer or something like that, that a lot of churches have. And if we put these notices where people don't have to walk a long ways to deliver, that becomes very labor intensive.
Right.
But if we put it in just key places in 3 or 4 or 5 places around the village, and people would have to walk maybe 25 yards from their apartment to pick up that piece of paper, that at least, forces them to open their door and walk out and get it. The choice is theirs, whether they really want that information bad enough or not. And I maybe that's too much of a hardline approach. I don't know.
No, it's a good stepping stone. We need to change some habits, and that's probably a very practical way of doing it. George?
It is certainly true that Channel 81 has lots of information on it. It's also true that it takes a long, long time to scroll through that information on 81. if there was some way that each apartment in their own TV set could scroll through that stuff at their will, I think it would be much more interesting and perhaps much more profitable at fairly modest cost.
Well, a lot of that has to do with how they program it. You put up, if you have a dozen slides, and you said just put up the slides and do an even rotation this way. But other ones, you can put a little thought to it and says, well, and on certain days, I want to have this slideshow because it's one day before that event. And you can have those, so you take a lot of clutter out. And then there's other ones, which is, we all know the pool is open. We don't need to see that slide again. And so it's a matter of changing the disciplines of how they use the system. Sure, Don?
I think Doug had a great idea there, and it would be kind of easy if we could establish a place at every elevator to put all the papers there. Everybody in this building, sooner or later, goes to an elevator.
And that would probably be a good place to have a poster or the activities for the day or key announcements. Yeah,
Absolutely.
hotels.
yeah.
Plus, it would do away with the manpower that's required to walk through the building to put something on everybody's table outside the door.
Yeah. Well, this is the kind of discussion, brainstorming we need to have. And it's, unfortunately, there's only 12 of us here. And maybe we're talking to a few others on YouTube, but we need to get wider participation in ideas, what's practical and all that, and then figure out how we're gonna to drive this train, whatever. Okay. Let's see. I want to talk a little bit about the congestion in the ports and all that, and show you this video before we run out of time tonight. So I had this one column I was going to read. There was a good summary that appeared in today's Wall Street Journal, and it summarizes key parts of the problem. Ships arriving from Asia must wait at sea for days or weeks because the berths are occupied when they do. And when they do pull up to the docks, they can't unload quickly because the marine terminals are full of boxes. Port truckers can't pick up the containers because of shortage of trailers needed to haul the boxes. And when they do deliver a box, it often sits for days longer than usual outside warehouses that are struggling because of the lack of workers and space. And a lot has to do because they're underpaying the warehouse workers. And it's not just truckers, it's the same thing in the rail yards. So it's a fairly large problem. So I'm going to show this video, which is a short thing that appeared on 60 Minutes a little while ago. And I'm going to shut off the YouTube stream right now. And the people who are on YouTube, if you go back to the link I sent today, you can go and see the whole YouTube video that came out of CBS. So